Hi, this is Ruby Shivastu, Editor-in-Chief Sightsin Plus. Welcome to our YouTube channel and please do subscribe it for the HR news, for the HR trends, for the HR updates and conversation with the top-notch CHROs. The agenda for today's discussion is HR challenges and the trends for 2023. If you look at the last 2-3 years, the major shift I see that has been the remote working and which has disrupted the work relationships and workplace culture utterly. Currently, there are three scenarios. The most of the people they have started working from the offices. In some industries, it is uh, all the employees are working from the offices. In some industries, it is a hybrid work model, and very few industries are there who have opted the permanent work from home. Second scenario, I see that not the recession, but the fluctuating economic growth and the little impact of the US recession on some of the industries. So this is another concern. One more concern I see, a scenario can see that according to CMIE, the unemployment rate is to 7.7% in October as against 6.43% in September. So what would be the job market in 2023? That is also a concern for the HR leaders. To discuss in detail, today we have two eminent HR leaders. Let me introduce Mr. Pradyuman Pandey, the Chief Human Resource Officer at Mother Dairy, and Dr. Ankita Singh, the Senior Vice President and Global Head HR, Administration, IT, and Travel at Signex. So, Mr. Pradyuman, I would like to come to you first. What are the global HR challenges for 2023? How do you see this?
Talk about challenges, the first thing comes in our mind is how to turn that great resignation term into great re-engagement of employees. That is the challenge, because see, it's all about managing the environment. That becomes a priority for the organization as well as HR people. And when we talk about work environment, prioritizing employee mental health is a challenge, because the way technology has moved in the way last 2 years have gone, I think that is worsening the mental health of employees. So we need to align. The most important challenge is how to align your culture and management practices that supports mental health, well-being of employees. That becomes the first challenge. Second, for sure, we have seen that talent war is going. So winning the talent war is a challenge for organization. See, hiring right people for the job is becoming important, and attracting talent now. When we talk about millennials, when we talk about those talent, those are available in the market, they now, I think they are looking something beyond profit. Organizations, we are those who have purpose beyond profit. That becomes important for organization to create a culture, to create a purpose for the organization, which attracts those talent. Now we already talking about ESG goals. You might be heard that environment, social, and governance is on priority for all organizations. So that is where how to bring that focus on ESG. It's not only organization focus, but also the focus of the employees, the mindset of employees to which to be taken to that. So these are, I think, the major challenges. And if you talk about yes, technology is moving in. Most important when we talk about technology, it is somewhere we it's not only bringing new technology in, it's also getting the buy-in of employees. So the rationale behind bringing a technology to replace the processes through digital one becomes very important. And in this whole process, leaders need to think that how the proximity with employees is maintained. That is important, that your proximity with employees, how you are capturing aspiration of employees, how you are capturing their concerns. That is becoming important in current challenges, if I see.
So, Dr. Ankita, how do you see? Would you like to add into this? What are the challenges you see? The global challenges and the country wide challenges for the 2023.
Sure. Thanks, Ramesh. And I think Pradyuman has already covered those points. Generic view, if at all I have to give be today or 2023, if at all we talk about, we work around three specific areas, which is, workplace, workforce, and the actual work. Now, if you look at the terms, I think we have challenges in these three areas, which is equally prominent. If you talk about workplace, I don't think at this point in time, any organization is able to say that we will 100% work from home or work 100% from anywhere, right? So we are all in that mix. But what is that right mix? Probably nobody is able to define as of today because we don't know what people are expecting. So workplace is a problem. 2023, it will, according to me, it will still remain as a problem. Second is workforce. Earlier we were talking about combination, five generations working together and managing them differently. Now along with that multi generational workforce, you also have their personal thing impacting their work, right? Because they are all working from home or anywhere. Now it's not just the scale, but it also what they are dealing with. So the workforce has gone through a lot of changes. Their expectations towards or from the organization, that has got redefined, which will further get modified, and that will remain as a challenge for 2023. Now when we talk about work, we all have been extensively talking about moonlighting. So it's not that companies are not giving work to people, but what is that extra that they are looking for? How come individuals have 8 hours of work, still they can do two more jobs at the same time? So the problem is with the work or the workflow that has been defined, or we are overutilizing or underutilizing, or there is a gap which was earlier communicated. So work itself at this point in time is a problem. 2023, again, I feel moonlighting or the other perspective are further going to get enhanced. It will be more visible. So according to me, these are the three primary areas, and these are the three primary challenges that will float for a much longer time than we ever thought.
Dr. Ankita, if you see the U.S. recession and the its impact on some of the Indian industries as well. And second, as I said, that CMI that has shared the data around 7.77% in October, and which is little higher unemployment rate if we compare with the last month, September. So, how do you see the job market in coming year for IT and other industries?
Is to see, till the time we exist on this earth, according to me, there would be enough job for everybody. That has to be created. So initially, when we started talking, we said that because of technology, jobs will be reduced. But we all have seen that the opportunities have also exponentially grown. People have taken up different skills, people have started learning new things, and people have literally elevated themselves so that they can take additional responsibilities. And because of that, you've seen them growing in their career path as well. Now imagine, we recently had Ramesh, we had a person who could draw images for us, for relevant content. Like when we put articles, you have 4 or 5 images. We literally used to hire people who can make that for us. Now with AI tools, you just have to write correct description. With changing one word, you can change the entire picture. Now when I can do it, earlier I had no intent or no knowledge about that. Now with that description which anybody can write, if I can create something, you tell me, why will I need a person? I would think that at least I can also try, or I can hire a junior person who can write correct description and get that work done. So those kind of jobs where that technology is going to overpower or overshadow, and we still have not made the right shift from where we are, that will majorly get impacted. Nobody would unnecessarily spend, if at all we can get the work done at a much lesser time and a much lesser rate. So that's the first impact, because of which the reduction in job opportunities is visible. Second, as you initially mentioned, the economic outrage or the impact, the global impact that we can see today will definitely have a lot of impact on Indian market as well. Globally, we all are able to see. But Indian market, obviously, because a lot of workforce was being used for our global projects. So that will drastically reduce, if at all they are going through economic changes or issues. Tomorrow, how the job market will look, percentage wise, job creation wise, I don't see that there will be a major dip, but there will be a lot of job losses if at all we are not shifting at the right time, if we are not making the right shift at the right time.
So, Prathman would like to add something here. How do you see the job market in coming year?
Yes, Romesh, I was reading an article which says that two-thirds of Indian knowledge workers are likely to switch job in 2023. If two-thirds of Indian knowledge workers are going to switch their jobs, definitely I don't think there will be a dip in job market in India. Also, we are looking that the trend is of there are layoffs in US and Europe. Possibly that will give a boost to Indian market because that gives an option to the employers to replace the high-cost employees in US and Europe, those who are working at the location, with people those who are in India. So that may help to boost the market for those tech workforce. Looking into India growth story, for sure, for manufacturing sector, I see that the outlook is positive. For manufacturing industry, at least, there will be more hiring because the way we are growing, that will bring more jobs to Indian market. So I don't see any concern over job markets. But yes, as Dr. Ankita has briefed, that there will be some job losses because people are revisiting their processes, revisiting their policies, revisiting the way they work. So it may bring some job losses, but ultimately it is not going to tip for sure.
So, Prathman, considering all the HR challenges, what you shared, what Dr. Ankita shared, and what the current scenario is, so what do you feel that what would be the key priorities for the HR leaders and the HR trends for the coming year?
See, trend one is with no doubt automation will continue to be on the focus for everyone. As I say that every leader should have a mindset of accepting that every process, everything can be digitized in an organization. That mindset will be get more prominent because like we are talking about metaverse now. Those job fairs, those trainings, everything, the way we do will change. Second is focus of HR on managing workforce ecosystem. That is becoming important because earlier we used to focus upon my permanent employees. Now the entire ecosystem has changed. There are people, those who are on contract workers, they are gig workmen. So now the entire HR value chain has to be extended to these employees also. That becomes a focus for us. It's not only your permanent employees. Third trend, if you see, the role of CHRO itself is evolving, I would rather say, because like, for example, now ESG is becoming, which I talked in my challenges also, ESG is becoming something which is focused on every organization. Now CHROs are becoming responsible to spearheading ESG initiatives. That brings more responsibility to CHROs because your focus, organization focus on environment, it's focus on society, focus on those governance pattern. I think that becoming important. So CHR role will get evolved into this direction. As I said, well-being is always will be on focus now because we have understood the importance of human capital during pandemic. So I think most important is to build a culture for acceptance around mental well-being. That culture needs to support that entire idea. Second is, I think physical well-being is also important. So good habits, good physical habits, that focus will come. And financial acumen, yes, the way the pandemic has taught us that we should be ready to face any eventuality. That is bringing people to say that they should get more financial acumen, more savings, how to support. Like we did in our organization, we have those term insurance for all employees for 3 times of the CTC. That is how we are supporting the entire thing. Diversity and inclusion, yes, that is the trend we are always talking about. We have seen diversity getting importance. We were focusing on numbers. Now we are talking about inclusion. We are talking about belongingness. We are talking about equity. So this subject matter will get into every process of the organization. It's not only that leaders talk about those good words, your recruitment process, the way you create the collaboration in the organization, everything will. And finally, from my side, I think which I feel is learning. Learning is the new trend where we need to give power in the hand of the learner. That is becoming important. So those classroom sessions will go on. I think those micro learning, coaching, mentoring, all those things are coming in. And investment into those personalized workplace learning is something which is, this term is catching up, where we need to create space for each and every learner according to his needs. So upskilling, multi-skilling, specifically for our manufacturing industry. We have seen that in my manufacturing facility, those people, those were responsible for production, they are now being trained for maintenance. Maintenance people are now trained to work on production lines. So that is the change in entire way, because we have seen the crunch of manpower during the time. That was the challenge which we faced. So now it's time that we train everybody, keep ourselves ready for any future where we face crunch of manpower. So I think this is what I see the major challenges. Trends, in fact, not challenge, but trends. Yes, DIEB, ESG, these are the big words which are being talked now and are important for the society, are important for the environment, for the next generation also.
So, Dr. Ankita, what is your take on this? How do you foresee the HR trends for the 2023?
I think Pradyuman has covered the entire book, but just to add, I think all relevant points have been covered. From my perspective, I would want to add, when we are talking about people per se, it has shifted a lot. Earlier, the way we used to work with people, and now the way we look at them, everything has become very unique. Most of the organization have accepted that you cannot design processes or policies for a group. You have to individually treat and understand the needs of the employees or the individual. That, I believe, is the biggest trendsetter, and that will be there for a much longer time. And when I say having your unique system in place, which means when we're talking about the trends, which are getting redefined probably every month, because now they are more flexible and more relevant. Earlier, we used to hear that this person has stayed with us for 15 years, and because of loyalty, we are okay if that individual is not working. Now the business is the center, at the same time the individual is the center, but nobody is compromising. The flexibility is there, but relevance is equally important. So that's one thing which I feel is already in and may get strengthened with the coming years.
Dr. Ankita, we have also prepared a few questions for the rapid fire session. So I would like to start with you. And for each questions, you can take around 10 seconds, 50 seconds. So these are the very quick questions, and I'll start with you. That what is the biggest HR challenge in your industry to solve in 2023?
I think catering to each individual's need. Nobody is agreeing to a generic solution. Everybody wants to be treated like an individual. I'm not an organization. I'm one person. Talk to me about myself, not about the organization.
Okay, so do you support the moonlighting?
Yes, I do.
Any
ethical
reason?
one.
Any reason?
No, ethical one. I think if at all productively, if you're keeping somebody engaged, that person will deliver, and we should be focusing on the on supporting the individual in the right manner and the output that you are getting. But if a person is busy only for 2 or 3 hours, you don't have enough work. And if ethically it has been informed, we should allow. There's no harm. I think we have been doing moonlighting for years. It's just that now, when it is unethical, people have concerns, and which is very valid.
All right. And I'm moving to the next question. So how do you assess an interview if candidate already has an offer?
See, if a person is sitting in front of you to give an interview, there is a very high possibility that the person must be exploring. But when a person says that I'm not going anywhere else and I do not have any offer letter, if at all you want to hire, you should focus on giving something which he or she will accept and join your organization, instead of questioning or doubting whether the person has the offer letter or not. Because so far, God has not been that kind to give us those extra powers or magical powers to assess whether the person is lying or not. So we
Sometimes the
should
behavior
trust at the
shows,
end of
sometimes the behavior shows.
very, very difficult. I think first initial few days, anybody can pretend really well. So those things are really difficult to judge. And when you're talking about human judgments, we also can go wrong, right? Not everybody would be that accurate. So why put that as a process in your system if at all you do not have a surety?
So
And I
next,
believe, I mean, when you're working with people, you should trust.
yeah. So next, what would have been your alternate career option if not gotten into the HR?
I don't know. I never thought about it, but maybe photography or event management. I don't know.
And how do you see the workplace in 2023?
I think more vibrant, more people-driven, and flexible for sure.
So now I'm moving to Mr. Pradyuman. Pradyuman, what is your biggest HR challenge in your industry which you want to solve in 2023?
The biggest challenge for manufacturing, yes, it is availability of trained manpower. That is how it is going to be, and focus on skilling, multi-skilling. As I talked, that we need to focus upon those part where we train everyone in the organization. So that is what I foresee.
And who is your most inspirational HR leader in the industry?
See, I gain inspiration from all young and budding HR professionals. And therefore, I love to connect with them whenever I am there in a conference or on my LinkedIn.
So
I
you don't
connect
want
with
to name
all.
anyone. You don't want to name any individual.
I think everybody is important for me. I get, but for sure, inspiration I get from my younger, the new generation of HR people.
So how do you strike the work-life balance?
That's the very important one. I think we used to balance our life keeping work in the center. That was the idea. Normally people follow. Normally people are, for years people have followed. I have invented my own way. I keep life in center and balance work around it. So people benchmark me for my work-life balance. That much I know. But yes, in office, it's all about time management. It's all about empowering your team so that they deliver and you get time for the way you want to work.
And what matters more to you, performance or culture fit in
See,
recruitment
for me,
point of view, I'm asking.
if you ask me personally, culture come first because I always say that if culture come first, performance will follow.
And what is
Culture
your
is
career advice for the new HR professionals?
See, for 30 years, almost at 3 decades, I have into HR profession, and the biggest strength which I carry with me is proximity with employees. I always talk that please be with them because it helps to capture their aspirations. Not only help to capture their aspiration, but also it builds trust of employees on you. And if you are trusted by employees, then you are more closer to be a strategic business partner. If you people don't trust you, you cannot imagine you to yourself as a strategic business partner. The, the number part is different, but the people should trust you. Then only you can take whatever you want to implement, whatever you want to initiate. People believe on you if they trust you. And that trust comes from the proximity. And yes, zero cost formula, keep smiling.
So I think we have tried to cover what would be the HR challenges and trends and the job prospects for the 2023. Thank you so much, Dr. Ankita and Mr. Pradyuman, for being with us and sharing your wonderful thoughts. We will connect again for another wonderful topic. Thank you.
Thanks, Ramesh. It's our pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Ramesh, for this opportunity, and Pradyuman, great connecting with you. Thank you.
Same here, Ankita.